Good day, everyone. I'm Bello Hussein Babu Gabani, here to present research methodology with the title Understanding the Factors that Influence Employee Performance in Nigerian Public Service, a case of SOCTO State Public Service. Public service is one of the agents of development in any country. The transformation of society largely depends on the effectiveness and efficiency of its public servant, once one or 2012. Over the years, a number of empirical studies have indicated that studying factors that influence employee performance has received very little attention. A large number of researchers have only narrowly studied some of the factors that influence employee performance. Following statement. The major challenge of employee performance in Sokoto State Public Service is that productivity has been on the decline over the years. However, the real cause of the decline remains unclear. This decline in performance has resulted in economic backwardness in the state, considering the fact that large amount of money were being spent by the government in order to salvage the system from this decline, but all the efforts proved to be abortive. Poor performance of public employees has also negatively affected the efficiency of the state public service. This study therefore proposed to investigate the role of some of the widely identified factors that influence employee performance in the state public service. Research questions and objectives. Research questions. What is the effect of motivation on employee performance in Sokoto State? How does the employee training impacted on employee performance in Sokoto State? To what extent do workplace environment influence employee performance in Sokoto State? Research objectives. Examine the effect of motivation on employee performance in Sokoto State Public Service. To explore the impact of training on workers' performance in Sokoto State Public Service. To assess the influence of workplace environments on employee performance in Sokoto State Public Service. Significance of the study. Firstly, the state government will benefit immensely from the findings of this study because it will be enlightened on how it can effectively administer employee performance for greater performance. Secondly, the employees in the state will be more competent in the discharge of their assigned responsibilities. In addition, the general public of the state will be better off because increase in the performance of the employee will lead to a better service delivery. And lastly, the students and researchers who might want to carry out further studies will find the result at the stated point. Literature review. Several studies have found motivation to be positively related to employee performance, and it can be buttressed by the scholars below. In addition, the literature has also shown that training of workers can significantly influence their level of productivity and performance, and it can be supported by the below scholars. Interestingly, workers' environment has a significant effect on improving the employee performance in an organizational setting, that can be supported by the researchers below. Literature gap. Firstly, the work that jointly the study of employee motivation, training, and workplace environment on employee performance are scanty. Secondly, the researchers may pay more attention on examining these factors in private sector organizations. Thirdly, this research is the first of its kind to be conducted in Sokoto State. Methodology. The targeted population for this study is Sokoto State public servant in grade level 7 and above from the State Ministry of Education, Health and Finance. The estimated number is below. Based on the formula for calculating the sample size for the finite population, the sample size for the study is determined as using this formula as equation 1. Where S is the required sample size, N is the population size, and the E is the margin of error. For this study, a tolerant margin of error of E is equal to 0.0505%, meaning that a 95% confidence interval is employed for the sample estimate. Accordingly, the respective sample size is calculated based on the formula below. Sample size for the Ministry of Education, sample size for the Ministry of Finance, and sample size for the Ministry of Health using the formula above. Below is the formula that we can use in order to determine the employee performance from the different, from the different ministries. Then this is the explanation of the terms used in the formula. Continuation, and that is all. Thank you.
Thank you, Bello. So your panel for today will be Dr. Tang, Associate Professor Dr. Tang.
So thank you very much, Rosas. I just I just get to know that I'm assessing this, but fine. I did take a quick look on these presentations and also some write-ups on this Bello. Okay, so Bello, first things is good to know that you have completed your draft research proposals. I consider this is still very draft. Okay, you can hear me all right?
Thank you, sir.
Okay, what I just more likely will give you some input rather than questioning you more this and that is because I take a look on it. Yeah. So you just listen on. Okay, so first thing is your objective. Your research objective to me is you put in the point form. That's correctly you put in point form, research question, research objective. But the only thing is over here, if you realize on your research objective, over here, it seems like it's still not really substantial yet, meaning that it's still too simple. Okay. So I think you might need to discuss with the supervisors at this because you are at the PhD level, right? So PhD level, we need about 3 different analysis. That is, ideally, we need 3 different analysis. From here, what you can see from here is 1, 2, 3. You can just conduct in one-time analysis, then all is done. You already achieved. I will consider it seems like a one objective. It doesn't show anything more deepens. Okay, so this is one things that I would like you to take a look on that. I think you need to restructure on your research objective. It's still 3, but you have to think about 3 different analysis. Okay, so then only you will have more deepen or depth analysis on quantitative also depth analysis rather than just all these headings toward your employee performance. If you're looking at employee performance, looking back your, if you do so, okay, clearly we can simply identify that based on your multiple regressions. Okay, multiple, you put MOT, WOK, TRN. These are the 3 variable: motivation, workplace, environments, and employees. These kind of things. Variable to input to inside that to run a multiple regressions. Okay, so from my point of view is all this is still in one lump sum. One lump sum meaning that it's still considered, to me, is still considered as one only. Because although you have segregated them into finance, education, and what is that? Finance, education, and health. I will still consider that is to one aspect. You are only looking at the one aspect, that how this motivation, workplace environment, and the so-called the third one is the trainings influence it. It is good that in the proposals you should have what theoretical or what kind of theory that help you to construct this. At least you will help you to construct this model. That I already told you all that you need a theoretical framework is for you to find out what kind of control variable that you need to have in your model. Okay, so that's why you need a theoretical framework to guide you. Otherwise, your model will be simply integrate whatever that you want. You don't have a fundamental sound framework. So when you have a fundamental sound framework, let's say you have a theoretical framework on this, so then after that, your performance also, let's say, for example, you use a firm performance or labels performance models, let's say, for example, then after that, you put in you already specified your what is that, control variable. One of the simple control variable might be the education level. So training over here is training about the scale. So employee training, is it cover educations? So educations, and then after that, in terms of performance also, KPIs. So there are many things that actually influence the performance of employees. Okay, so gender, socioeconomic factors also, there are differences. Of course, will be the control variable. But one thing is you need to have some theory to guide you what are kind of components that you needed. Then only you add this MOT, WOK, and training. Then only will become more make sense than you just simply put it into these three models. Okay, again, I repeat, these three I will consider is as one only. Okay, so this is basically it. Of course, I understand that basically, or one semester, you need to construct a very sound and strong research proposals. It is really a challenge. Okay, at least you come to this stage, you have some draft work. That's why I'm terming it as the draft proposals. It's still quite reasonable, So carry on, discuss with your supervisors, and then see how to come up a more tangible research proposals for PhD level.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much.
Okay, noted, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, sir.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Tang and Bello, and thanks, Bello, for presenting within the 3 minutes time. So we'll move on to the next student, which is Fan Yin, student of Associate Professor Dr. Azim. Fan Yin, you may share your slides if you have any. Is Fan Yin present?
Yahoo, Google, and in China,